take it away.
Okay, fine. Thank you. This is Nancy Kammerdiener, Chair of the Board. I'm going to turn first to a couple of decisions that have been reached that we need to put on the record. The first of those is Ada Rivera, last four digits of the docket 1198. The property address is 131 West Walnut Park Drive.
I'm sorry, madam. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Am I supposed to do my read on before we begin?
I'm sorry, what is a read on?
It basically has everyone affirm that what they're saying, that basically it's allowing me to be here via Zoom, and you're affirming that what I take down is not in person.
Oh, we've never, we've been doing these for a while and we've never had a court reporter ask us that. So please do.
Okay, I'm just to be sure, I actually was gonna reach out to my employer. I didn't know if I needed to, but I typically do a read on just to cover everyone. Is that okay?
That is fine.
Takes like 5 seconds. Okay. The court reporter. The attorneys will participating in this deposition acknowledge that I am not physically present in the deposition room and that I will be reporting this deposition remotely. They further acknowledge that in lieu of an oath administered in person, the witness will verbally declare his testimony in the matter under penalty of perjury. The parties and their counsel consent to this arrangement and waive any objections in this matter of reporting. Please indicate your agreement by stating your name and your agreement on the record. I don't know where the attorneys are. It's a lot of people.
So what
A little confusing.
I'm sorry. What we do here is Nancy will affirm everyone who's not an attorney. So you'll probably get some of that anyway.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Before you guys started, I have a question for you.
Wait, just 1 second, sir. Just 1 second. Nancy, the chair can maybe explain why everybody's here. So just hold tight. Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay. The first thing we're going to do is deal with some decisions that were made ahead and are just being announced here. And there are on the call, there are 5 members of the board present and attending. They are generally not sworn in individually. And so right now we're just announcing decisions that were made outside the hearing room. And that first one is for Ada Rivera, last 4 digits of the docket 1198, property address 131 West Walnut Park Drive. And in this matter, the board has decided to abate the penalties from December 6th, 2018 through September 10th, 2019. The second item that we have a decision on is—
Nancy.
Yes.
Just 1 second. The petitioner for that case is here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you did mention that earlier. Does the petitioner wish to be recognized or have any questions on that decision?
Yes. I just want to understand why you guys send me
One
this
moment,
letter.
please identify yourself for the record.
Mustafa Al-Adham.
And you're here for 131 West Walnut Park Drive?
Yes, I'm the husband of Ada Rivera.
Okay, that was what I wanted to know because we only have the one name and it wasn't yours.
I bring the power of attorney to Melissa the day after. So if you guys didn't take a decision 2 weeks ago, why I'm getting this letter? I take it as harassment from the water department.
Sir, that letter is not from the tax review board. That's from the water department.
Okay, because they said I have to pay this money by the 23rd, or I will be in court and have to pay court fees. And
It is not for us to decide right now. You have to take that up with the water revenue, not us. Nancy, announce the decision, please.
Okay, and once again, the decision was to abate penalties that were levied for the period from December 6th, 2018 through September 10th, 2019. We get a letter that has this decision spelled out, but if you have a reason to deal with the Water Revenue Bureau before then, you could refer them to this decision, and that part of your bill should be removed and not be required for payment because we have abated those penalties.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in, and I hope you can get this straightened out with the Water Revenue Bureau without too much difficulty.
So how I can know what is the amount, what is the balance, or how I can know that?
You really need to do that with the Water Revenue Bureau because,
So,
and you may,
Nancy?
yeah, so let you handle it.
So what will happen is you'll get a letter from our office, and then the Water Revenue Department will send you a bill. So just look out for a bill from the Water Revenue Department with the exact amount, taking away what the board, implementing what the board's decision was.
Okay, if this decision, if whatever decision, can I dispute this decision, or that's a final decision?
You could dispute it to court.
Court, okay. So I ignore this letter also. And I wait from you
Jump in
guys.
here. I think Mr. Saifuddin can maybe enlighten us a little bit.
If Ms., could you repeat your name, sir?
Mustafa
Mustafa Al-Adham.
Al-Adham, yes.
Okay. So you can, if you can contact, do you have an email address?
Yes,
Okay, you'll receive a letter. If the letter is unclear, email me وهشرح لك.
inshallah. So what is your email address?
Well, I'll take down your email and send to you.
Okay, so how I can send this to you? I give,
Just say it and I'll write it down.
so it's MOUSTAFA_ALADHAM. So it's Mustafa_Al-Adham@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Shukran.
A, so M like Mary, O, U, S
N
like
like
Sam.
Mary, O, U like United,
Mhm.
S Sam, T Thomas, A Apple, F Frank, F Apple, underscore Al-Adham, A Apple, L Larry, A Apple, D David, A Apple, M Mary @yahoo.com.
Is there an H between the D and the A?
Okay, you know what? I give you another one. I give you
Melissa,
easy one. I give you
Can
easy
we,
one.
can you, excuse me, can we do this off? Can we do this off the record?
Thank you.
Yes, I will come out, I will take it from you, and then I'll give it to Mr. Saifuddin, okay?
Alright.
All right,
Thank
I
you.
think that would
not a
make
problem.
sense at this point.
Nancy, please proceed with the next decision only.
Okay, the next item that has a decision only is for Deer Meadows. Last four digits of the docket 3566. The property address is 8301 East Roosevelt Boulevard.
So I'm
I don't
done,
know
right?
if anyone is
Well, thank
here
you.
to hear it, but and if they are, they should speak up. But the board has agreed to abate 100% of the penalty. And we agreed to that because the petitioner's liability began after the purchase of the property. And there'd been some dispute about when that liability began, but that's part of our decision. The third item that was on our list for a decision.
If the
Answer
board
this
please,
question.
so 100% of penalty abatement, what about the principle that they were challenging?
Not abate.
We did
Not
not.
abated?
we
No
did not-
abatement?
We did not address the principle because of our conclusions after we heard all the testimony. So we only abated the penalty. Okay,
Thank you.
is that clear then?
I just needed that down.
That's fine. And the third item that was on our agenda for a decision, TL Ton LLC, last four digits of the docket 9613. Address was 3621 to 31 B Street. We understand that that matter has been settled by an agreement between the city and the petitioner, and therefore no action is needed from this board.
Correct, thank you.
And Nancy, I would put on the record that that's stormwater, not a water revenue.
Oh, okay, thank you. I did not have that in my
Yeah,
notes
just-
for the
Last
announcement.
four digits won't be helpful.
Okay, thank you very much for adding that because it was not on the notation that I was working from. those are the items that were decided outside the hearing forum. We now will turn to today's agenda, and we have them in the order in which the people arrived here. And so the first item we're going to hear is actually number 5, Victor Gordon Enterprises, last 4 digits of the docket 1161. Property address here is 13 North 3rd Street. Is a representative of Victor Gordon Enterprises present on the call? On this, are they in the room?
And they're coming in now, Nancy.
Okay.
This might be a good time for me to ask. Obviously, I haven't done a proceeding like this before, so I'm just trying to feel my way through. Is this person, do they need to be sworn in at all?
Yes, they will be.
Are
I will
you
swear.
swearing? Okay, thank you. All right,
Can
I
you move
understand.
into the
We
seat-
don't
to
swear in the
seat closer to
attorney.
the Microphone, to the camera.
You're talking to me?
Yes, can you please move to the other seat?
Nick,
Am I
near
supposed
the
to be sitting
computer,
here?
please.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is Nancy Camerdiner, the chair of the board. First, I would ask, you've already done part of it, to sit close to the computer, and then we ask that you speak up so that we can hear you. If you're comfortable in the room without your mask, we would ask you to take it off. If you're not comfortable, we would understand. But
Well, this morning,
we do hear people more clearly if they don't have the mask on.
not a problem. I just,
Okay, thank you very much. Please
I have-
identify yourself for the record.
Victor Gordon,
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Good afternoon. If the board pleases, Kareem Saifuddin, counsel for the city.
Okay, and do you have anyone who will be testifying for the city who needs to be sworn?
Yes, Ms. Jones.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record.
Natasha Jones, Water Revenue Bureau.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes,
I imagine you're the one who will be giving us the numbers for this matter. Is that true?
yes, I will. Okay. The petition is questioning billing period January 16th, 2019 through April 13th, 2019. $759.96. Penalty 0, lien 0, for a total of $759.96.
Okay, thank you. Does the city have any opening comments before we turn to the petitioner?
I'd have to review the timeline a little bit, but because this matter was given a non-pro-tunc consideration, I'm going to make the standard objection to non-pro-tunc and request that the petitioner show that that it had neither actual nor constructive notice of these charges until 60 days before the petition date. That being said, since this is coming out of an informal hearing posture, I will, I'm not going to make a meal of it.
Yeah, well, the board had approved this as a non-pro-tunc, or it wouldn't be before us. And so certainly you have the right to challenge that, but it was our decision to move ahead with this. So
Could
do you
I ask?
So for clarification, hold on, for clarification, are you making an objection on the record to us proceeding forward with the proceedings? That's the question I'm asking.
No, I'm not making an objection on the record. I'm simply preserving the objection, if that makes any sense.
Could I ask what that word means? That non-proton, whatever it was?
That means we approved, your petition came in after the usual allotted time, and we approved hearing it. Nunc pro tunc is Latin for now as if it were then. So that we
Oh.
approved it as something that would ordinarily not have been considered for hearing because it would have been late. And we agreed to hear it anyway.
Besides that, my only opening is that this petition regards charges for usage at a vacant property. The usage charges in dispute are supported by actual and progressive readings And so the standard that should be applied is that the petitioner must show that there's no reasonable explanation for these actual readings other than an equipment error.
Okay. All right, let's turn to the petitioner. Please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board.
Okay. There wasn't anybody in the building. Nobody had use of the building. There was no water being used. I have some letters. I don't know if you can see it or should I just read them? This is from a city employee, from the person in charge of the Old City Service District. To whom it may concern, I write this regarding the property owned by Victor Gordon, 13 North 3rd in Old City, Philadelphia. By way of background, I'm executive. You can't object to
I
witnesses.
object to reading this into the record. You can have it scanned into the system and we can all read it if it speaks for itself.
These are witnesses that should be read into the record. I mean, you can't object to.
Well, that makes it hearsay. And I know that and before the
No,
board, that only
I
goes
also-
to the weight, but that is hearsay.
I also brought copies of the letters. that I can- that I
Okay,
can
so are
read
you
to.
objecting, city, to him
I'm-
providing, him reading is that an objection?
That is an objection, yes.
Okay, got it. You have to say objection, so that way we can actually get it properly down into the record. Arguing with him is not an objection. You have to say objection and proceed forward. Thank
If
you.
I were before the board, I would be looking at the chair. This Zoom system makes it a little harder.
It certainly does.
Nancy, I think that we should ask Melissa to go get the letters, scan them in the system, let's read them, and then you can rule whether you're gonna have the objection sustained or not.
I think we have them.
Oh, we
Yes,
have,
They were part of his
have them.
petition.
they
They
are,
were
we do
part
have,
of his petition.
Are they? Is
Well,
that the
let's
one
check
that
them.
is dated June 2nd, 2021? Oh, from the Old City
Yeah.
District?
The one, yes, that one's dated June 2nd, 2021.
Okay, so we do have that as one of the
Okay.
attachments.
Okay, you
It
have-
is- If I'm referencing this for the board and for the city, part of what was distributed were the petitions and attachments to the petitions. And this is attached to the last set of things in the listing in that attachment to today's hearing notice.
The city didn't receive those.
You didn't receive those?
No, the only parts of the petitions we received for 13 North 3rd were the scheduling letter granting non-protunct application, the petition itself, and the bill.
Okay, so those have already been supplied to the board, and we can note your objection and review them and make our determination as to their probative value and whether or not we will.
if I can ask, all right, you have the one from the Old City Special Service District person? Okay, You have-
Let me just check with you, though. The one we have is dated June 2nd, 2021. Is that the one?
that is correct, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure we have the same letter.
All right, do you have the one that comes from Teresa Snow Esquire?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
So,
Uh,
Mr. Gordon, why don't you tell us, we do have that documentation. Would be helpful if you explain to us what kind of building it is, how long it's been vacant, what the circumstances are, is it occupied now? And how can we establish, or how can you establish that the water usage that you are objecting to was not accurate?
First of all, I don't know if the city even knows how to be accurate. The erroneous bill was $300 and something, then it jumped up to $700 and something, then it came down to $300 and something, and now according to what I just
sir,
heard.
please answer the question that she asked you. What type of building it is? How long has it been vacant?
Okay.
We can't take, we're a board, we don't work for the city. We're an independent adjudicating body. We're trying to
Okay.
help.
It's a two-story building. It's commercial on the first floor. It's a commercial building, but nobody's been in it. It's been.
No one's been in it since when?
Oh, let me just, 2014, I think it is. Wait, Ms. Snow's letter. it's quite accurate. 2015. And according to Ms. Snow Esquire, the subject property has been vacant since. I relocated more than 3 years ago.
You own this property?
Pardon me?
You own this property?
Yes,
Well, can you attest to us whether or not it's been vacant?
it is.
Okay, well-
It's totally unoccupied. Except now I have a tenant and he's not doing anything with the building yet. But I have a tenant, who's changing the building to suit what he wants to put in. But he's not using the thing and I'm not charging him at this point yet.
Is the water turned off in this building?
Yes, it is. It's been off.
Officially, did you notify the city? Did you have anyone involved in turning off the water?
No, it was shut off in the
Somebody could have
basement.
walked into that building and turned it on and you wouldn't have known?
Nobody has keys. I was away with cancer treatment and other things, and nobody has keys. I'm the only one with the key. Well, today, the future tenant has a key, but nobody has keys.
The bill that was attached to your petition was for a period in 2019, June 17th. Was the bill date. It was May 9th through June 10th for the billing. And there were two very large readings. I'm saying large because most of the ones that were shown on there over the course of a year were zeros. There were two that were listed, one at 42, one at 43, and in between, there was one at 300 cubic feet. Could someone have been in the building doing some cleaning or anything at all in
No,
June of 2019?
no one.
Or actually February and April of 2019?
This year, it was this year only that I opened up the building. I cleaned out all the stuff that was left in there by previous tenant that moved out in 2015. I got a future tenant to move in.
Could there have been a leak in a pipe or anything else that would have caused these high readings in 2019, February and April?
No, if there was, it would have continued because nobody was in the building. So it would have continued, but the water was turned off. The valve was turned off.
These were identified in the bill as being actual readings, which is why I'm questioning that.
No, nobody was there. Nobody could use it. I was the only one that has access, and the water was shut off years before.
Where was the water shut off? At the meter? or-
Where it comes in at the basement, there's a valve, and it's totally shut off. It's been shut off.
On the building side, not on the street side?
Yes, it was shut off when Miss Snow was there also. When she moved out, it was shut off. That was in 2015.
Let's move to the city, Nancy.
Yeah, I was just going to see if anyone had any questions before we do that, but just checking with the other board members. Any questions of the petitioner before we turn to the city?
Can I interject one more thing?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sure then if you have those other papers, I'm sure you have the leasing contract for the building. The building was up for lease and the agent didn't have a key either.
Okay,
I
I don't
mean,
think we have
So
that.
no one had a key to go in that building.
So who shut the water off? You did it yourself or the city? did it?
Yes, no, I did. I know how to turn a valve. I have it shut off in my other property at 31 North 3rd Street too.
When did approximately that happen?
2015, I think it was. Yeah,
Let's turn to the city.
Okay,
There's also-
if I might begin with a cross-examination of Mr. Gordon.
could I just say one more thing? I
Can
also
I
have,
say something, please? Hi, it's the court reporter. I need it, just in case I need to produce a transcript, I'm gonna have everyone speak one at a time. There was a portion there where everyone was sort of talking over each other. That's gonna be difficult to decipher later on.
I apologize. I'm a bit upset. If I could just mention one last thing, there's also, and it should be included in the papers, a letter from the electric company stating that the electric was not used during that period of time either. I'm sure I included that in the paperwork too.
It is not with the paperwork that we have. Oh, wait, maybe it is. I have something that came through to me upside down, and I think I saw the word Pico on there. Yes, we do have something from someone at Pico that's dated February 3rd, 2020.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, so we do have that as part of our record.
Okay, so the electric was off, everything was off. Nobody was there.
Okay, thank you.
and-
Now we're turning to the city for their testimony.
Okay. Before starting with any testimony or cross-examination, I just want to say I thank you, Melissa, for forwarding the documents. And I have reviewed them, and I am objecting to all three letters as hearsay. And I don't think they should be included in the record, but I recognize that's the board's decision. For the moment, I would like to briefly cross-examine Mr. Gordon, just get a few questions from him. Mr. Gordon, just to be clear, Victor Gordon Enterprises owns North 3rd Street or 13 North 3rd Street, correct?
Victor Gordon owns it.
Okay, what is Victor Gordon Enterprises and why is that the name in our system?
That's my
Is that a
company.
DB? Is that a DBA?
What's a DBA?
It's not a corporation, it's not an LLC?
No, Victor Gordon Enterprises is a corporation.
Okay, but, and it,
That was my corporation originally. I started my business in that building, I don't know, 1960 something. So the electricity was under Victor Gordon Enterprises back then, even though I'm the owner.
okay. And to be clear, you're saying the building was vacant for the whole period, January through April 2019, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Do you have any utility bills like power or gas that show no usage from the period?
well, I gave.
Not letters, bill.
If you don't get a bill if you don't have electricity on.
Okay, or a signed formal letter from Pico stating that it was discontinued.
I have
Not
a
an
letter from Pico.
Oh, you have an email, but okay, but that's your
No.
only communication?
Yes, what else would I need? I mean, that's a legitimate letter from them. I didn't print it. I mean,
Okay,
it's a legitimate letter from them.
okay. Did you have a plumber inspect your property for leaks, a running toilet or other source of high usage?
Everything is closed.
So you didn't have a plumber inspect it?
No, why would I need a plumber? Nobody's in there and everything is closed.
Okay. Have you been inside the building since this
Yes,
high usage?
I cleaned it out about 6 months ago, 5 months ago. There was a lot of trash and stuff left over from the tenant that moved out in 2015, I think it was. And I got the building all cleaned out, and I got somebody who's going to fix it up and put a business in there.
Okay, so did you enter the building at all
Yes.
in 2019?
I don't recall and coming into the building in 2019. 2019, this is 2021. I don't think so.
Okay, so you have no idea then whether there was any leak or other water usage inside the building,
There
correct?
can't be, nobody was in there, there was nothing hooked up, nobody had a key, nobody could use anything.
But you didn't see that for sure, right?
Well, do you think the pigeons broke in and turned the water on? I mean, if nobody's in there, nobody has a key, then nobody can turn the water on.
That concludes my cross-examination of Mr. Gordon. Thank you.
We have other things for the board's consideration.
Yes, Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Have you had a chance to review this customer's account?
Yes.
What kind of property is North Third, or 13 North Third Street?
Commercial?
And who owns it? Well, let's leave that aside.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not necessary.
Okay.
So Mr. Gordon is challenging the bill in this matter from January 16th, 2019 through April 13th, 2019. What charges appeared on the bill for this property during that time?
Storm, water service charges and usage,
Were the usage charges actual or estimated?
both.
Okay, when was it estimated?
February 14th, 2019 through March 15th, 2019.
Okay, was the estimated usage followed by an actual reading?
Yes,
If an actual reading immediately, and was that estimated reading greater than, excuse me, was that actual reading greater than the estimate from the previous month?
yes,
Okay, if an actual reading amount immediately following an estimate is greater than the estimate, does that tell you anything about the estimate?
yes, that either could have been too low or correct. We
Okay.
we reversed that estimated reading. And on April 13th, 2019, he was rebilled for 2 months. Let me pull that up. Sorry, I'm trying to keep doing this. My mouse is not acting right. For February 14th, 2019 through April 13th, 2019, he was billed. And that estimated reading was reversed. And we got to.
Okay, so are all bills under dispute based on actual and progressive readings?
Yes,
Okay. Did technicians go out to this property between January 16th, 2019 and April 13th, 2019?
no,
Did technicians go out to this property after April 13th, 2019?
no.
That concludes my direct examination of Ms. Jones.
Okay. Board members have any questions of the city?
Not I.
Let's go in the back room, please.
I was just going to say, do you need anything else or should we be stepping aside to see
Let's
if we can?
step to the breakout room.
Okay, opening up the room now. All board members are back in the room except for, oh, there she is. Perfect. All right, Nancy, everyone is back. You're on mute.
Nancy, you're muted.
Nancy, you're muted still.
My apologies, it got covered up and I couldn't see that it was muted. The board has reached a decision. It's our decision to abate the usage charges from January 16th through April 13th, 2019. You'll get a letter from us that spells out this decision. Both sides have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas, but I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side's going to choose to appeal. And if that proves to be the case, then you'll get a restated bill that reflects only those charges that would remain, primarily stormwater or service charges. We thank you very much for coming in, and we hope that this resolves the matter equitably for all.
I thank you. It's been refreshing to be treated fairly.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, thank you so much.
Give us a few moments to,
The next case is number 1.
and I was just going to say, I think our next one is case number 1. And just for the record, that's Shanika Williams, last 4 digits of the docket 4517, property address is 3818 Gratz Street.
Before I go, could I just ask one thing? It is a practice of the city, when you do make payments, to apply them to interest and penalties instead of current bills. And I always mark my checks for current bills only. So could I,
Our decision removes this old charge, so I'm
Okay,
not.
all right, so all usage charge will be on. All right, thank you so much.
Wait 1 second.
I really
He
appreciate.
doesn't have any penalty anyway.
Right, there are no penalties.
No.
Specific charge.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.
You can exit out that door, sir.
Pardon me?
You can exit out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Nancy Cameradiner, the chair of the board. I was just going to ask you if you felt comfortable taking off the mask, and you've already done
I
that.
do.
And you know that the computer's right in front of you. That is where the microphone is. So we ask you to sit as close to that as you can. Please identify yourself for the record.
Okay, my name is Shanika Shepherd, but my maiden name is Shanika Williams.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board? Did you hear?
Ma'am, did you just touch the computer? Yeah, she muted herself. Hold on.
I do, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
If the board pleases, Kareem Safety for the city.
And do you have anyone who will be testifying for the city that has not already been sworn?
Yes, Mr. Dybalski.
Please identify yourself for the record. Is he on?
My name is Andrew Dybowski. I'm an assistant manager of Philadelphia Water Department Meter Division.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Could we have the numbers for the record, please?
The petitioners questioning billing period October 25th, 2007 through May 12th, 2015. Principal $13,099.92. Penalty 0, lien 0, for a total of $13,099.92.
Okay.
So that amount, I'm sorry, am I able to speak now?
What we
Oh.
have another opportunity for the city to make some opening comments, and then we'll
Oh,
be to
okay.
your statement.
I actually have a question for the petitioner. My apologies. My apologies. Just because of something that we found in our system. Have you sold this property?
Yeah, so the property was sold back in June, and the balance that was provided to me was $9,241.50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, and then the other part was the $13,099 was credited. Like I received a credit. Then there was an adjustment for $8,696.68. So between I'm just rounding the $9,700 up to the $9,241.50, that was penalties that were being assessed, I'm sorry, because back in December, I had requested an extension. And because the person who was monitoring the tax review board's email account, it was never forwarded to the right person. So in February of 2020, I received a letter in the mail that stated that my case was withdrawn. Then COVID happened, so then I couldn't speak to anybody until this year.
But if you said that the property was sold in June, June of this year, or?
Yes, it was June of this year.
And when it was sold, what happened with the water bill? Was that paid as part of the settlement? What?
No, it wasn't. So because I had the hearing scheduled, the title company held money in escrow.
Oh, okay.
And I believe the bill was transferred to the new owner, but before the home was even sold, I contacted the water department and made them aware of the settlement date.
Yeah. So the charges appear on, and this is, Ms. Jones will testify that the charges now appear on the buyer's account. So
Yes.
I would maintain that, these are their charges to dispute, and she would need to get a power of attorney from them to pursue this action.
So I had a letter, so I received an email, well, a phone call, I'm sorry. Her name is Nikki. And I was told that in order for me to speak on the property, I had to receive a letter from the new property owner giving me permission to speak on this. So I took care of that.
You have that with you?
No, it was emailed.
Kareem, we have that letter, but it's not notarized.
It's not notarized. I would object to that. I think we need a power of attorney before this board. I would not object, even though this case has been continued a million times, I would not object to a further short continuance so that you can get a properly notarized power of attorney from the current owner. But I leave it with the board.
What do we actually have, Ms. Andre?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if this petition was filed prior to the sale of the property, correct?
Oh, yes. However, from what I've gathered, the tax review board does not have any information about that. Like, we never got a letter from anyone.
We don't
It
have a
wasn't sent to
copy of
us.
the email. We don't have anything.
Okay.
We don't have a Nikki who works here, so that's why I'm a little confused. We don't have anything yet.
It wasn't to go to the tax review board. It was to go directly to the water department, and it was sent through an email.
But your
But then if we don't have it,
board.
we can't act.
Is there any way for me to, I have my phone, is there any way for me to forward it?
I mean, yes, of course you can forward it to our email, but if it's not notarized, the board will have the same issue that the
Okay,
water
so I
department
wasn't-
has already raised.
Because when I had spoke with Nikki, she just told me I just needed to get a letter.
Who is she with?
Am I able to step out to go grab my cell phone?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Before you step out, you're referencing Nikki. What department or who is Nikki with?
It came from the water department. It was in an email, and I was
Okay,
told
that was what I was trying to understand.
Oh, okay,
What was
sorry.
the source of this? Who, I only had a name, but that didn't associate that
Okay.
person with their function.
Letter? No, they're asking who's.
So why don't you step out and get us that
Okay.
email?
All right, thank you.
My suggestion is if she acted and followed the instructions from the water department, then we might be willing to consider whatever it is that she has. I mean, if she was following instructions from the water department and did what they asked.
Natasha, do you have a copy of the letter? Can you share your screen?
Yes, I have.
Because part of me is thinking if she filed it prior to selling the property, and to your point, Nancy, she wasn't relying on what was communicated to her, she did it.
Right.
I mean, maybe we can just hear the testimony and then take it under advisement until we get the actual notarization.
Yes, because everybody's here.
Yeah.
It's just spinning. I don't know if I'm just not having good reception.
Yes, Melissa, we have the letter and it was emailed to Nicole Davy.
Oh, Nicole, I'm sorry.
And what did Nicole ask of her? Something from Nicole as well?
Attached to the copy from the new owner granting authorization for me to speak on the property. But it's not, it's not notarized though.
Was she asked to get a notarized letter? That was my question.
No, not in my email. The email was sent on August the 12th.
No,
And
it wasn't actually notarized. It was just,
It says in preparation for
on the
your
behalf of the
hearing.
property, a letter of authorization.
I'm sorry, wait, everybody can't have more than one person speaking. Ms.
Oh,
Jones,
sorry.
we're gonna ask Ms. Jones since she has a copy of.
Okay, sorry about that.
In order to speak on behalf of the property, a letter of authorization from the current owner will be needed. That was sent to,
So I think that my recommendation is we proceed. We will take it under advisement. We will look at the documentation. If in fact we feel like we need more, we will get back to you and ask you to provide more. I don't know how my fellow board members feel.
I concur.
I concur. Ryan Boyd concurs.
Dominic
Okay,
Ward
wait.
concurs.
you want me to
And-
scan it and send it to you?
Yes,
So
please.
basically, we would take this matter under advisement. Is that what I'm hearing from my fellow board members?
We're going to hear the testimony and we're
We have
going
to
to
hear
take
the
it under
testimony.
advisement so that we can review the documentation that Ms. Jones is referencing from both the
Uh,
water department and the petitioner.
We've already heard from the petitioner and we had heard from the city. I don't know if either party has anything else to add to what they've already presented.
Well,
I do have a few more things that I wanted to add, if I may.
yes, please.
Please
Okay.
continue.
Okay, so in 2006, when I had purchased a property, I was just receiving a water bill and I was just making a payment based on what the bill stated. Then in 2015, that's when a new meter was installed. And then I received a bill for almost $13,100. So I had received no prior notice, stating that the meter was broken. A bill just showed up. So then I had contacted the water department just to get some understanding as to where this number came from. And then I was just told that the meter was broken. So between 2006 up to 2015, the charges were assessed at $13,000. So even when I look at bills, the average usage is about 3 CCFs with totals to like $23.22. So mathematically, I'm just like not understanding how over the course of like 7 years, a bill would be almost $13,100.
Wasn't that adjudicated before now?
So it did get adjudicated and then it was taken down to, I believe it was below like $9,000. And then I had appealed that too, because even when you come down to that number, if you look at an average of a water bill, times that by the number of years, mathematically, it still doesn't add up to $9,000. And I had no idea that the meter was broken. I'm just going off of the bill that I received in the mail.
I have a question for the city. Could you look up the record and see if the petitioner was paying regular monthly bills prior to the big bill?
If the board pleases it, I have done a previous review, and it does seem to be that generally speaking, that was the case. I couldn't, but Ms. Jones, can you do that in more detail?
No, I'll take that as a stipulation. I'm fine with that.
It's not a stipulation. I'm not sure, but I would like Ms. Jones to do that. What I can say is that the prior abatement was to, if I'm reading my records right, to 18 CCFs a month, or 180 CCFs a month. It was a large. It was still a high abatement. It's not the 3 that she's asking for.
And who who provided the abatement? Was it a master?
Exactly.
The
Who
master.
adjudicated that?
Master hearing,
Okay.
okay, from us. So
I
just
never
to,
received that.
This is an appeal from that
from the
adjudication.
master, thank you.
Okay.
So just to piggyback on Mr. Boyer's question, the bills that she was receiving and presumably paying for the most part, as you've stated, were 0 usage for all those years? Is that what went on?
I believe this would be a little bit better handled when I do my direct with Ms. Jones. But what I can, if I might just briefly ask Ms. Shepherd, you said is your
Yes.
correct name? Yes.
Yes.
Just like 2 or 3 questions to establish some background facts, and then do my direct with Ms. Jones.
Okay.
So while you owned the 3818 North Gratz Street, did you ever have a rental license for that property or rent it out? Okay.
Yes.
And was it generally rented out between 2007 and 2015?
That is correct.
Okay, so there were people living there.
It was one person living
Okay,
there.
it was consistently one person.
Yes.
And you were reading your water bill every month, and you were seeing it was the same every month?
For the most part, like when the bill came, I would just pretty much open up the bill and just look at how much I owed, and then I paid that.
Okay, so you didn't think it was a little odd that it was the same every month?
No, I'm really being honest. It didn't even cross my mind.
Okay, that concludes my cross-examination. Thank you, Ms. Shepherd, sorry. And if I might briefly begin with Mr. Dybelski, actually.
Please.
Actually, I was thinking it might be more useful to start with Ms. Jones. I had expected to start with Mr. Dybelski. But let me ask Ms. Shepherd one more question. Are you disputing that the meter was in fact broken before?
No, I didn't know that the meter was broken. I didn't find out that I had a broken meter until I received the bill in the mail for $13,099.
Okay.
So that's what made me call to
Mhm.
find out what was going on.
Okay.
And I was informed that the meter had been replaced.
Okay. But you're not disputing at all that the meter was actually broken. You're not disagreeing to that.
Well, I only found out when they told me that it was broken.
Okay.
That's all I can go off of is once I got that bill and I said, well, why is my bill almost $13,100? Like, that's an astronomical number. And
I understand. I'm just asking that you're not saying the meter was fine and that you should only be paying this amount. It's that your challenge is to the way that the estimated adjustment was made.
Yes.
Okay. You're not disputing any of the mechanical details of what happened.
No, the water department told me that the meter was broken. So I was going off of what they shared with me. And then when I looked at that dollar number, mathematically, it just didn't make sense. So even when I received a credit, it was like $4,000 that was taken off, with the balance going down to about $8,200, that still doesn't make sense mathematically.
Understood. If I might then just go straight to Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, have you had a chance to review this account?
Yes.
What kind of property is 3818 North Gratz?
Residential.
Okay. And So Ms. Williams is challenging bills in this matter from October 25th, 2007 to May 12th, 2015. What charges appeared on the bill for the property during that time?
Stormwater service and usage charges
Okay, were the usage charges actual or estimated?
estimated.
Okay, and do the Bureau's records suggest why there were estimated readings for the property?
Yes.
What do the records suggest?
We wasn't able to get readings.
Okay, now, Ms. Shepherd has testified that there was a meter installed. When was that done?
May 10th, 2017. No, that's the wrong date, I'm sorry. May 12th, 2015.
Okay, now, was the meter found installed on that property before they came in? Was that functioning?
No,
Okay, so did this visit lead to any billing changes or adjustments?
yes.
What was that adjustment?
A debit adjustment?
Okay, and for the record, could you, is a debit adjustment based on actual readings or estimates?
Estimates.
Okay, and if you'd be so kind, could you look at what usage what the usage estimate was to grant this, to make the debit adjustment?
2,801
2,801, what for the record?
cubic feet.
Cubic feet or centum cubic feet?
Cubic feet.
Daily?
Monthly.
Monthly, okay.
Could you repeat that number, please?
2,801.
Okay.
So would that be 20 CCF, 20 CCFs? Or 28 CCFs?
28.
Okay.
Will I have a chance to ask a question once you're finished regarding that?
Absolutely.
After
And
the city's presentation.
yeah,
Okay.
and very quickly, why was the zero usage shared responsibility policy not applied in this case?
Customer came straight to TRB.
Okay. And with that, I yield for a cross-examination of Ms. Jones. That means you can ask questions, Ms. Shepherd.
Oh, okay, thank you. So for the one reading that was quoted for about 2,800, so how many gallons does that, I'm sorry, what was the CCFs equate to?
If I might clarify for Ms. Jones,